Avengers Infinity War. Was it good or was it absolutely nothing? Find out next on Potateaux. It's been 10 years in the making since this movie. I saw this movie in 2008, the day after I seen Prom. I remember this. Straight memories from this.
Okay.
So I put in the work for this. So ain't nobody been more excited for this than me, because I mean, shit, it's been 10 years. Okay. 10 years worth of buying movie tickets. 10 years worth of watching these same white guys on movie screen. I've been ultra excited for this. So first up for our review, we're gonna get into, we're not gonna give you spoilers first, alright? So if you think you're gonna get spoilers, like this is a spoiler free section right here. About halfway through, then we're gonna get into the spoilers. So later on, if you don't want to be spoiled on anything, just click off later, then go watch the movie, then come back and then check back in with us, alright? So right before we get started, if you do like these reviews, I know it's been a long time, but make sure that you give us a like and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the bell so you'll be notified whenever we put out more of these reviews. Alright, going into our non-spoiler section. This one is just going to be more of a reaction. Just going to tell you how we felt a little bit more. So, how did you feel about it?
Like after we got out and I posted on my Instagram story, I was like, there really weren't words. But how I felt, it was more emojis, like.
I feel like in the theater, we were like the only ones that had like the loudest reactions. Because like everybody else was in shock.
And everybody else was like dead silent. And we were like, oh shit, no, really? Why? How you gonna do that? Stuff like that. It
was hilarious. Like at the very end, we're gonna get into what happens later. But when the movie was over, it was dead silent in the theater. People didn't know if they wanted to clap. People didn't know if they
most people didn't.
Like it was like 3 people that like tried to clap, but you could tell that their friend was like, "No, don't do it, bro." So many people like you could tell that their friend was like.
And it's just funny the contrast between this movie and the last Marvel movie, which was Black Panther.
Right.
How at the end of Black Panther, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that was great," and blah 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 blah.
It was very joyous.
And people, happy and they're talking and they walking out and blah blah blah. And then in here it was just like,
it was sad. It was very sad.
And then you just sitting through the ending credits like what's gonna be? And it was just like, what's gonna be the redemption? I was like, I know the ending credits gotta give us something to be hopeful about, right? So yeah.
I've never seen people be that quiet that long through an
end
credits. Like
this, they didn't have a mid credit and an end credit. It was only an end credit, so that's like 5 minutes of like a whole bunch of names,
complete silence,
a whole bunch of everything just rolling across the screen, and then people just like.
And you know how some of the other Marvel movies where it's some people that don't care about the end credit scene at all, like just a few people that it's a few stragglers that just gonna walk up and just leave anyway because they just rather just go. Everybody was sick. Nobody got up at all, and you could tell that it wasn't the end credit. Like they were still trying to process what all they saw. That's exactly what was going on. Let me ask you, who was your favorite or just a standout in your opinion in this movie?
Okay, well, I guess I'll take that question in 2 parts. So, like, it's hard for me because as a Marvel fan, like, my favorite characters that I, like, grew up with and stuff like that are not in the MCU. Mm-hmm. So, I'm an X-Men fan, so it's like, I can't say that any of the people that we saw were my favorite. But in terms of like the standout characters, everybody did a lot.
That's one thing I can say. They did at least give everybody a moment. It's only like a few that didn't really get a moment, in my opinion.
Everybody did a lot, but I'm gonna say, in terms of like standing out with like emotion and story arc, I'm gonna split it between Gamora and
Okay. It's a little complicated. That I agree with that because Thor and Gamora, not gonna spoil it, but they had
the most going on.
Yeah, like they were very connected in the story. So
yes, because
you got to spend a lot of time.
And this isn't a spoiler because I mean, if you've seen all the other Marvel movies, and then you know, with this point that I'm about to make, I think I'm gonna throw in Tony Stark too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you have seen all the movies leading up to this, you know that the people who have the most stake in Thanos would be Tony Stark because
he was getting a vision of Thanos.
Yeah, so Age of Ultron. Like, and it's been haunting him.
Yeah, for 6 years. He did bring that up too.
Yeah, he brought it up. And Gamora, that's her adoptive father, and she grew up a certain way because of this man. And Thor, because Thanos pretty much invaded his home and he was dealing with his brother, so yeah. Yeah, they all stood out. Probably, and I feel like this might be a little underrated, but I just enjoyed them every time they were on screen with Spider-Man. I just enjoyed his character when he was on screen. So yeah. That was one of my favorites. Crazy to say because as much as everybody else, it was just I just liked Spider-Man on the plane because in this movie. And also I do want to say you could tell the Russo brothers are good with action. They did very good with action. They did a lot. They did like the thing that impressed me was the fact that a lot of all these other characters that were never involved in any of the movies that they've done so far. And they took those people and they weaved them in this very well. Like the action with Doctor Strange was a little bit better as far as visually and like just the choreography of it was a little better than it was in this movie. Like even though I understand he was a new sorcerer in this movie, it's just like the action was still done a little bit better in this one in Infinity War than in his movie. So I thought that was cool, but that is also one thing that I don't like because when these new directors come in, they start making people do things that they don't do in their necessary movies. So it's just kind of alright. Also, one thing that was very, I'm just going over some of the good things. Another thing that was very good was just seeing how some of the superheroes use their powers teaming up. That was pretty interesting seeing, different superpowers being used against Thanos. I kind of like that. Or at least... That was my point. Yeah. That wasn't my point, so, but I remember my point. Go ahead.
We'll delve a little deeper into like what we mean in the spoiler territory a little bit later. But yeah, that was interesting. The one downside to it, in my opinion, there wasn't a lot of downsides to the movie. But I can say that, I mean, of course there's so many characters, but there's some characters that didn't get to meet each other.
Right.
So they never interacted at all. So that was only the kind of downside. But I mean, I understand at the same time because you got so many people to work with and they all have to have their time and be able to do this and that and be able to be woven into the story. So that was, I like that. And some people didn't get a chance to get their moment. Yeah. But but from what I understand, everybody that didn't get their moment in this movie is going to get their moment in the next Infinity War movie. So. Okay,
I got my point, and I don't want to lose it again. Okay, so the thing that I was going to say when I forgot and just blanked out was the pacing of the movie was really, really good.
It was for almost 3 hours.
Because you were talking about how, some people didn't get to meet each other. And, that sucks whenever you're a fan. You kind of want to see everybody. It's just like whenever the first Avengers movie came out and you saw everybody together on screen at the same time. This would have been trying to put 30 people on the screen at the same time. And I don't know if that was totally possible. But the groupings that they did do were really good. Yeah, and so it was good in the sense that, they paced the action well. We start off with some action. We get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And what's also good about, and I don't even know if the MCU had thought this through They could have. They might be freaking geniuses over there, and I don't doubt it.
Shout out to Kevin Feige.
Yeah, but the fact that we did not have to have so much exposition was amazing. And the thing is, we didn't have to have that much exposition because all the movies before this gave it to us already. So the only way you would be like fully out of the loop is if you haven't seen any of the other Marvel movies.
Right.
And this was the one you just decided to start with. But like exposition wise, the only bit of exposition that we really got was a full thing about Thanos.
Yeah,
because we already knew who he was coming into this, but it was like, you know, kind of from the trailer. So that's not even a spoiler. From the trailer, Gamora is talking about Thanos, who he is, and what he can do.
Right.
And we got a little bit more of that in the movie, but we didn't have to sit there and be like, oh, we got to sit through,
this
you know,
period of exposition.
backstory of exposition, and it's taking us, you know, 15, 20 minutes just to find out stuff. So it wasn't like that. The pacing was good in terms of action and then emotional parts and then, you know, character building moments. Like, it was paced out so good. And then with the groups of people that you had together, they made sure to have somebody that was going to give you some comic relief in each group.
Right.
I mean, granted, the scenes that had any of the Guardians of the Galaxy in it were more funny than others. But, you know, Spider-Man was in different groups, so y'all know he's comedic relief. You know.
I just liked all the pairings. Like, they did.
Yeah, they really did good. Because some people, and I guess when we get into spoiler territory, I'll talk about one grouping that I thought, well, pairing, that I thought was hilarious. I don't know if anybody else did. Because they're not two necessarily funny people, but I thought that they were good together. Because they had similar personalities, so they were butting heads. It was like, I feel like I know you talking about. So.
Fuck that. That's all I really want to talk about without spoilers.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually get into spoilers because it's something that I've been wanting to talk about that really did. This frustrated me.
Okay.
Because if you watch the trailer, there is one big scene in the trailer that's completely misleading. Just is completely misleading. But when I saw it, I said that this scene is not what we think. But I did not think that it was going to be that misleading.
He wouldn't let it go, y'all.
Like, that shit bothered me. So, alright, for the spoiler review.
It's spoiler time.
Yeah, it's definitely spoiler time. So, this is the last warning. If you have not seen this movie, you do not want to know what goes on, because we're going to give a lot of details. Go watch the movie, then come back, and then comment down below, and we'll talk with you and discuss a lot more things and theories that we have. Please come back with theories. So, with that being said, this is a long movie, so this movie gonna give a little bit more play-by-play. So just stick with us. If you feel as if you want to check another character, just check down below. I might put a time code down there, so you just go to whoever that you want to hear about, okay? So with that being said.
Alright, so in this movie, like, it was almost 3 hours. So a lot happened, obviously. And they did a lot of jumping around between groups of characters. So instead of us trying to jump around like the movie did, we decided to break the groups up into the 4 major groups, which they start to intersect. And we're going to do that leading up to the last group, leading into the 3rd act, which is what we need to get to. So the movie opens up with Thor. Because
straight after Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, at the end of Thor Ragnarok, you know, they're on their ship and then Thanos' the ship.
Yeah. So it opens straight from there.
So it's right there. And yeah, we'll talk about Thor all the way through to the 3rd act, and then we'll move into the next group.
But starting straight from the ship, the first voice we hear is one from the Black Order, and they're pretty much just killing, of course, half the people that's on the ship.
I think everybody died on it.
You know, Thanos has a thing about killing half, so he only killed half.
Well, the people that, the other half that was supposed to be alive, I ain't seen.
That's because that's not what the fuck questions be.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure everybody that was still on the ship is just the people that he slaughtered. He probably let the rest of them go.
True. And he left Thor alive.
Right. So first of all, Thanos has a half thing. Like it's a 50-50 thing. He only wants to slaughter half of the universe. So if he goes out and kills, he only kills half of everybody. Mm-hmm. So first on the ship, we just see him just slaughter the rest of the Asgardians that's on the ship. Heimdall, Idris Elba is on the ship. He got a stab wound. We just see Thor already got his ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So he was just laying down ass whooped by the time we get into the movie. Yeah. So of course we all theorized. We saw the trailer that Loki had the Tesseract. And for a second, I felt like going into it, I thought Loki was going to still betray Asgard. Yeah. And was just going, just be about for himself. Like, Loki has always been about himself, technically. Like, whatever interest he has with everybody else, he just want to make sure he's good.
Right.
So I definitely thought he was going to betray Thor again, but he didn't. And we got a call back to Avengers 1 because he said we have a Hulk.
Yeah, so pretty much Thanos had Thor hemmed up, and he was telling Loki, if you don't give me the Tesseract, that I'm going to kill your brother. Yeah. And Loki was like...
At first he was like,
get the killing. So Thanos, and it's good to mention that Thanos, he already had the gauntlet, and he already had the Power Stone in the gauntlet. We didn't see how he got it. We just know that he got it already. And they mentioned it, and that was it, and we moved on. So he's trying to get this Space Stone from Loki, pretty much, and he started lighting Thor up, like in the head, like frying his brain, I guess, whatever he's doing. And Loki's just standing there like, alright. But then, of course, he softened up and was like, okay, stop, I'm going to give it to you. So then he stops electrocuting Thor.
Obviously, he was just giving Hulk enough time to show up, you know what I'm saying?
So, he gives him the Soul Stone, or what he thinks to be.
No, that was the Tesseract.
Oh, he gave it to him. The Space Stone. Shit, dang.
But Hulk jumps into the fight.
Yeah.
And at first he kind of, like it seemed like he might get a few good licks in on Thanos, and he's about to, he's about to put them punches on him. And then things turn quickly, like things turn completely quickly. And then for the first time ever, we see Hulk get them punches put on him. Okay. Like for real. Thanos beat he turned Hulk from green to pink, basically. And just want to put this out there, that was the last time we technically see the nigga. Like after that, he completely bitches the Hulk out. The Hulk is scared from the rest of the movie.
Like he's done with it. He's tired of being the Hulk. Like he's over it. And once Hulk gets beat up, cause he beat him up.
Like he really whooped.
Heimdall, he uses the last bit of his dark magic to pretty much launch the Hulk down to Earth. And we'll get to where he lands in a little bit. And then Heimdall is killed because it's like, you ain't had to do that.
Right.
Because you sending warning signals and whatnot, and we ain't trying to mess with that. So anyway, Thanos gets the Tesseract from Loki, the real one, right?
It was always real.
Oh, I wasn't? I felt like he faked him out at first. Whatever. Somebody gave him a fake. That did happen. Whatever. I know better than he do. I got a better memory. Anyways, before Thanos leaves with this Space Stone, he chokes Loki out. Because Loki's like, well, you can take me down to Earth with you.
Yeah, Loki trying to turn back around like, I was just playing, bro.
Right. You can take me to Earth with you to be your guide, and I'll be loyal to you, and blah, blah, blah. And Thanos is like, yeah.
And he tried to quickly back.
He tried to
sneak in close enough to catch him by the neck.
Right, and tried to stab him.
He almost got it, but
he tried it. And then Thanos like, yeah, loyal. Okay.
This is the most graphic, neck snapping, with one hand. Let me put it that way because I've seen neck snaps with, but
it was just first of all, Thanos is a giant.
Yeah, but it was still like I've never seen somebody get picked up by the neck in a movie and they actually acted like they was about to die.
Right.
Like you know when you watch a movie and somebody get picked up by the neck and they just be like this.
But he choked Loki out so much so like. I mean, you hear the bones cracking and stuff, but like
Loki started turning back into a frost giant.
Yes, the color faded from him. His eyes got red. Like you see the oxygen and you see the life leaving.
Into a frost giant. That's how he looked without not being like he choked the Asgardian out.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they just threw him down in front of Thor. Like, alright then. And then Thanos had the nerve. Not only did he kill all the people on the ship, he had the nerve to set that bitch on fire and then leave.
Yeah, like that was the most torturous genocide for a king that you'll ever have to see because like Thor, he made Thor watch all his people die.
Yeah, because he literally had Thor like locked up with some metal.
He made him watch all his people die. Made him watch him kill his brother. And instead of just killing them and just setting them free, nah, you just gonna set fire, boom, just blow up the spaceship.
Oh, something else I want to mention with him killing Loki. A line that Thanos said that I had a reaction to was, ain't no resurrections this time. And I was like,
that was a real line because as you know,
Loki like to come back.
Nobody really like stays dead like talking about in Marvel movies, but Loki has died like 3 times maybe.
Yeah, he said ain't no resurrections, boo. So
that shit was funny.
Yeah, lit the ship up and bust out on his way to the next one. So
that sends Thor flying through space pretty much.
Yeah, because the ship, burns up.
Yeah, so
there's nothing out there. So now he's floating through space.
But they sent the distress signal before that when they was getting bombarded, and the Guardians picked it up. So that's where Thor ends up meeting with the Guardians. That was a very funny.
So yeah, once they got there, right.
That was very.
Once they got there, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get here. We're gonna save some people. We're gonna get some money, whatever." And then they get there, and it's like something ain't right, and it's just bodies floating through space. And then they're like, holy, like, okay. And then Thor just smacks into the dashboard of the ship. I don't know what to call it. What you call it? Windshield? Like, what do you call the front of a ship for real? Anyway, so he just smacks on the windshield. And then Rocky's like, get it off. Like, ew, get it off. And then Thor's one eye pops open and like, so they get him on there. He's knocked out. And it's just funny because Magnus and Drax are like fawning over Thor. Mantis. Listen, I'm mixing up names. I ain't mixing them up. I'm merging names and shit. Shut up. But yeah, Mantis and Drax are like fawning over.
And Gamora.
Well, Gamora too, but not as
She was the one that had to go touch his arm.
She was touching him or whatever, but Drax was like, "Oh my God, this beautiful specimen of a man." And then Quill is like, "I'm a man." He said, "No, you're a boy.
You're a dude.
You're a dude. This is a man." And he was just like immediately, Quill was envious. Of Thor, like
I ain't gonna act like his arms wasn't big and nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Then Drake's gonna tell Quill, you one sandwich away from being fat. And he was like, am I? Gamora, am I? He was like, this is a wake-up call.
That's hilarious because, he really was fat in real life.
Yeah, he was fat in real life before this character. But anyway, so, they get Mantis to wake Thor up. Thor wakes up in freaking Thor form and just starts trying to take their ship over. Yeah. Tell them what they gonna do.
And pretty much he knows that he needs to go and make a new weapon. So he leaves with Team Groot and Rocket.
Yes.
And
Groot is a teenager.
Right. And they go to the place that sounds like, I don't know what the fuck it sounds like. It sounds like you're trying to clear your throat.
I don't know. And to mention, let me mention this early. They do a lot of location cards in this movie, and a lot is happening in space. So it seems very Star Warsy to me, just that part of it. Because, I mean, literally, they go to all of these different planets. All of these different planets name weird stuff.
They
for the
definitely
most
do
part.
a lot of
and it's just like, is this Star Wars of the Galaxy? Like, that's what it felt like. It was like Marvel presents Star Wars. Like, it was just weird. Anyway. Yeah, so they break up. He goes with them to, and,
wherever the stuff is.
where the dwarves are that makes, you know, his weapon.
Dwarf stars.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and that's where we run into Peter Dinklage.
Yes, but whenever Thor was
It was,
saying
oh my God. It was so weird because
it was a
he
big
was
mind
Peter
fuck.
Dinklage in his size, like his body type as well
Yes.
still, but he was taller than everybody
He
else.
was huge.
He was a tall dwarf.
It was giant dwarfs. Think about that. And I was confused the whole time, like, because it was a dwarf body, like it was his own body, and then
But he was taller than everybody else.
he was huge. He wasn't even just tall; he was like big. It was, I don't know.
It was definitely, but the effects for that was very good. I did like Peter Dinklage. Like, he didn't make me not like his character. I like Peter Dinklage in general, though. And it was good to finally see him in a Star Wars movie. I mean, not a Star Wars. It was finally good to see him in a MCU movie. But I want to know, like, where, if he got, well, he was the last one of his race as well, so I want to know if he got destroyed in this, well, with the end.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. So, before we get into creating Thor's weapon, the other half of the Guardians, which is Star-Lord, Gamora, Mantis, and Drax, they go to find the Collector because they pretty much know, like,
Right,
look.
that's where the ether, aka the reality stone, is.
Because they took it there.
Well,
Well, they didn't take it there. He got it from
Thor's friends that are dead.
Yeah, from the
let me bring this up. In the end of Ragnarok, Thor never showed any care for the fact that his friends was killed by his sister. Mm-hmm. None. Never even mentioned them. When he got on the ship at the end, he never even looked for them. He never brought up their names or nothing. He just got new friends. In this movie, when they asked where his best friend was, stabbed through the heart.
Rocket, it was like weird. Rocket was like,
Rocket tried to be a motivator for us.
Yeah, like, we know that, you know, your brother just died.
He's trying to find some words.
You had to kill your
Thor.
sister. Your daddy died. Do you have a mom? He was like, she got killed too.
By dark elves.
And then
like, best friend, stabbed through the heart.
It was like, so you really ain't got nobody. I thought Rocket was gonna be like, you know what? Let me get away from this motherfucker because he can't hold on to nobody.
Like
something wrong with
Rocket
you,
tried
Thor.
to show some sincerity, man.
Yeah, like something wrong with you, Thor. Cause everybody around you dies, fam, and I don't know how to feel. But anyway, the other half of the Guardians go to the Collector. Should we touch on them? I think we should touch on them first because the Thor's other part leads into the end. Right. So yeah. So
when they get to nowhere where the Collector is,
weird.
So if you haven't watched any of the movies, you wouldn't understand what nowhere is at all.
And it's nowhere.
It's not nowhere.
K-N-O-W-where.
It's nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, like nowhere. Okay.
So when they get to nowhere, they see that it looks like Thanos hasn't been there yet. Well, he is there.
But he's there. He's torturing.
But he hasn't destroyed anything yet. He's torturing the Collector. Mm-hmm. So, because he's trying to find out where the Reality Stone is. So immediately, of course, Drax been on this hunt for Thanos for years. So when he gets there, he automatically has to control his temper. So everybody is trying to, get him to calm down and wait to react on what's going on. So Mantis uses her power on Drax to put him to sleep, but when he falls over, he makes a super loud noise, and it alarms Thanos. So once that kind of happens, Gamora breaks away from the pack and goes with her move and try to kill him. She does it, like, at first we think that she really, like, succeeded.
Yeah.
because Thanos was, you know, dying out on the floor and shit. But then we see like the Collector start freaking out, talking about how magnificent everything was, and then the curtain pulls back and Thanos was using the Reality Stone, so he had already got it.
Right.
And he was setting a trap for, he was setting a trap for Gamora because he knew she was going to end up coming there trying to find a Reality Stone to stop him.
Yep.
So he quickly uses the Reality Stone and fucks just completely, he turns man into spaghetti, turns Drax into a pack of ground beef.
Right.
Like,
dice the
just,
blood.
yeah. And then, right before they got there, Gamora told Star-Lord, like,
I know something that Thanos doesn't know,
and
he don't need to know.
Right, and if the chance comes, you have to kill me. So when the chance came, Thanos, being the type of person he is, he like, shit, she already told you to do it, so go ahead. Do exactly what she said.
Right.
And just pushing the button. So when he finally pulls the trigger, the shit turns fucking bubbles.
Right.
Which was funny. And then he's just like, I like you. And then he busts out.
Yeah.
So technically, with shit like that, I'll take that back. I'll take that back when we get to the end. So I take that back now. I take that back. I almost had a theory, but it was wrong that fast.
Let's jump back to Thor, and then we'll jump back to Gamora. So, Thor is there getting his weapon made, was trying to. Whenever, they find, you know, Peter Dinklage. Thanos has come, destroyed everything like we said, but he also bound, his hands, because he said that, you know, he made the gauntlet for Thanos because he thought that if he did it, that he was going to be able to save his people, which that was a lie.
Right.
He still killed everybody, and what he did was he said, you can keep your life, but your hands belong to me. So he pretty much like engulfed his hands in metal, so he can't make anything. But Thor tells him, like, everything that you've made has came from your mind. It hasn't come from, you know, the use of your hands.
Right. You know how to make the stuff.
Right. So we can help you make it. We just need you to tell us what to do. So pretty much he needed, you know, metal because he's making a tool.
Yeah, he needed special metal though.
Right. And he had the mold for it, but the problem was in Thanos being there, the star that he gets the power from to heat up his metal, Thanos pretty much disabled it. So he told Thor, like, look, we have to get that star back working. Because it's a star, it's in space, but it's still metal. It was, I don't know.
Well, it was engulfed in metal. They just had to open up the mechanism to
they had to open up an eye.
Come out.
Yeah, like, kind of like the eye of a camera. Like, you open up the lit light in, this is when it's lit and light out. So, yeah, so Thor and Rocket, they was like, okay, we got a plan. We're just going to power this thing some type of way. So, Rocket was like, okay, so it's us in space. You got a rope, and you got the ship. So Thor does what Thor does. He ties the rope to the ship and he started, you know, and he was like, start the jet. So he started and they get the star working.
Yeah, they got it working.
But
they had one little problem with the iris pretty much of what it is.
Stay open.
The lid just couldn't stay open. So Thor had to hold it open. That's a shot that you see from the trailers.
Right. And pretty much, you know, Peter Dinklage like, look, if you hold that eye open, you probably gonna die because you taking on direct heat from a star. And then he was like, look, we're gonna hold it open. I'm gonna hold it open for as long as we need to. So he does. They
get part of the weapon made, and the group gets this moment because they have part of the axe, but they don't have anything to hold it together.
Right.
So Team Groot at the time, so he drops his game and says, I'm gonna step up, and he lends part of his arm,
his limbs, yeah,
to hold it together. So
he pulled the two pieces together and made a handle for it as well. So that was Team Groot, because Team Groot been playing whatever game.
That was his moment right there.
This whole time. And my question during the movie was, what type of battery was in this game? Because literally, he in charge of not one time. They've been floating around doing stuff, and he been playing it the whole time. Space age shit. I don't know. Anyway, so they get this axe made, and then we're gonna hold off on Thor because the next time we see him is in the third act. So let's bounce back to Gamora because she just got kidnapped.
Right. So it's a lot of things that happen when Gamora gets kidnapped. First, we find a little bit before that, we find out exactly what happened on her planet and how she ended up becoming a daughter of Thanos.
Yes, we did get a flashback.
And just items that meant significance to the both of them.
Yeah.
So we do see a little bit of their relationship and how that started. And once they get back to Titan, Thanos just tells a little bit of everything. And he also shows her that Nebula had tried to kill him not that long ago.
And he said she got close to killing him
right,
too.
that she had snuck on the ship. And she almost got close, but he had her in a bay. And he had her pretty much disassembled.
Right. And he was torturing her.
Yeah, he's been torturing her like he's always been doing, pretty much. So, he used that as his leverage to make Gamora tell him where the Soul Stone is because she found out where it was. She burned the map, but she told Nebula that she knew where it was.
And the problem with that is Nebula is
part
a machine.
android. So, yeah, she's an android.
Her memories are stored in there like a freaking database.
So all they had to do was just pull up her memories.
And Thanos was like telling Gamora, and it was just, I feel like the scenes between Thanos and Gamora was so good because he's the villain, but you could see the soft spot that he had with her. Like he never hit her. He never like yelled at her. It was none of that like things you would expect from a villain. Like how he would talk shit to Thor and he would talk shit to other people. He wasn't doing that with her.
Type thing.
Yeah, and it was like, I taught you so many things, but I didn't teach you to lie. That's why I'm disappointed. Like on some real dad.
And she was like, everything that you taught me, I hate about myself.
Yeah, like it was crazy.
It was crazy.
So he asked her to tell him like where the Soul Stone is, and she was like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Until he starts torturing
Nebula.
You can definitely see that their relationship has come a long way because they went from hating each other in the first Guardians to at least settling their differences and getting an understanding of each other in the second one to showing each other a type of loyalty and love because they care. You can tell that they care about each other. They both care
about each other.
And they both gone through similar things as far as being daughters of Thanos. And that was pretty much kind of the issues that they got around in the last one. Like, it doesn't matter what happened to what. Both of them technically were being tortured by the same person. Yeah. And he was technically still pitting them against each other. So, once she tells Thanos exactly where it is,
he says, take me there. Well, you gotta show me because even if he goes to that planet, he don't know where to go. Right. So, they do.
So we go to the motherfucking planet.
And I can't remember the name. Something.
This is
whatever. Star Wars.
But
that's weird.
When we get to the island, guess what we see? We see somebody we ain't seen since fucking the fourth movie in the fucking MCU?
I think fourth.
Yeah, I think it is the fourth. The motherfucking Red Skull.
Looking like the Grim Reaper. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. He has a cloak. A floating cloak.
Of course, he's played by a different actor than he was in the first Avenger, but the guy did a very good impression. If it was not for the fact that I knew that wasn't the same guy, I would have definitely thought that was him. And pretty much the Red Skull this whole entire time has been stuck on this planet watching over the Soul Stone, being able to show people where the Soul Stone is, but not being able to wield the fucking Soul Stone himself. Right. So he's been just banished and placed on this planet and been living there forever. So that's why we haven't seen his ass. Right. And that's why his ass ain't showed back up in none of the fucking movies.
So then, the Red Skull walks them to where you attain the Soul Stone or whatever. And, he's like, look, to get the Soul Stone, you have to make a sacrifice. And Thanos is like, alright, name it. You know, like.
So you have to sacrifice
the thing you love. And Gamora's like, yes, okay, you failed because You vicious. You don't love anything. All you care about is yourself, like blah blah blah. And then she's saying this to his back, and then he turns around and Thanos is crying. And then she was like, really? Like tears because you failed or whatever? And then Red Skull is like, those tears is not for him. They're for you. And she's like, what? And this is when we find and solidify, because we already kind of felt it, but this is where we solidify that Thanos loves Gamora. Like,
he actually has love for her. He
really loves her. Like, that's his child. And I mean, I don't know if all of other Thanos' kids, he got them from like little kids like her, and maybe that's the thing, because she was like maybe 5 years old whenever he found her or whatever. So I don't know if that's the connection or if he just really liked her. I don't know. But he really loved her. And then she's like, no, like, and her ass. So it was one of those moments where, like, you think that you know somebody. Like, she really thought that she knew Thanos and knew his motives and knew how he got down. But, like, shock, he really cared about you. And along villain lines, I care about you, but my goal is more important. So
yeah, he said he wasn't going to sacrifice what he was doing ever again, because
he did it before, and now he's in the position that he's in, and it's taking so long, and he's lost things in his life too.
Right. I think he would have rather sacrificed his daughter than to let her be killed or end up dying for no reason later, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's where he kind of was going with that.
So he took her hand and slung off of this cliff, this sacrificial cliff. And then the Soul Stone, him acquiring that was the one that was probably one of the most different experiences, because since it wasn't like, you know, a stone like the other ones, after she died, he like woke up somewhere else
in a different plane for a second.
Yeah, which it was interesting, and like the wave of emotions that he was going through, like for a CGI character.
Thanos was a good looking CGI character.
He was pretty good, and he had some
DC
good.
Take notes, man.
Like the way he emoted, was able to emote through all of that, was really good.
Yeah,
so
DC definitely did take notes, because I don't know how we had two fully CGI villains and Thanos looked excellent. Like, he looked like somebody that you could actually just reach out and touch like this. Like, he looked textured. And
yeah, he did have some.
Steppenwolf just looked like a cartoon character that they just stuck in the movie, technically. It just didn't look the same. It was like they took a character from Reboot and put it in Justice League.
Okay, moving on. So, we're done with the first two groups, which was Thor and half of the Guardians, and then the second half of the Guardians, right? So, the third group, we're in New York, right? Tony Stark is taking a light jog with his new fiancée, Pepper Potts, right? They're happy, and Tony was telling her how he had this dream, and you know how sometimes dreams feel so weird to where you wake up and you gotta do it.
And in comes Dr. Strange, Mr. Stark.
Right, because right before this, remember earlier that Heimdall sent the Hulk flying to Earth? Well, he landed in Doctor Strange's sanctum.
Sanctorium.
So he landed there, and he's like, Thanos is coming. And Doctor Strange don't know who he is, of course, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, he give
so
him
he give him a rundown and tell him that we need to get Iron Man. So Doctor Strange portals to where Iron Man and Pepper Potts is, and like, yeah, you gotta come with us. And he's like, what?
Yeah, of course he wasn't like automatically like, okay, until Bruce Banner pops up from behind him. But yeah, that was very interesting, and I do want to point out that the armor, Iron Man's armor, this is the best that we've seen.
But before we get to the armor, this pairing is the one that I was talking about.
Of course.
Because these egos that both of these people have, like, if you watch the movie Doctor Strange, you know the ego that Doctor Strange has.
He's basically Tony Stark with magic.
Yeah, and like, so them two button heads was a good combo because it's like super smart magical man versus super smart tech man. And like, we're both, you know, used to being rich, and we're both, you know, used to being the best. And it's just like, and it was funny because Doctor Strange was really taken aback by how fucking cocky and arrogant Tony Stark was.
Right, like he was just
he
cocky
was just
as
like,
hell a movie ago.
Right, and he's just like, I'm surprised your head could fit in that helmet. Like, he was really like, ugh. Like, he really didn't like him. So yeah, so they're running it down to Tony, and then Bruce is like, look, we gotta call the Avengers. And you know, the Hulk's been gone for a long time, so he don't know about
what happened
on
Earth in the Civil War.
With Civil War. So like, Tony's like, me and Cap not on speaking terms. Like, we haven't seen each other. Had the Avengers broke up. Like, there's nothing. And so he's like, look, you gotta call them because we gotta find Vision. And we need everybody on this because we know Vision has this other stone. Doctor Strange has the Time Stone. So we good. We here. We're going to protect this stone. But we need to find Vision because he going to be going for him. And he's like, well, Cap could get in touch with him. But I don't know. Like, it's hard. And he pulled out the little trap phone like he was going to call Cap. But he didn't because he didn't get the chance. Because
as soon as he pulled that bitch out, Thanos started attacking New York.
Well, Thanos is 2 kids.
Well, I mean, still. Well, Thanos is...
Yeah, it's 2 sons that he has.
Pretty.
And one of them is a magical son. And the other one is like, you know, a Hulk type. Just big, monstrous, whatever. So anyway, yeah. So they go out there. So right now we got Doctor Strange, Wong, Tony Stark. And I'm calling him Tony Stark because he's not in the suit. Tony Stark, and we have Bruce Banner. So they out there, you know, all New York City, acting a fool once again. People running, screaming through the streets. So they round the corner, and they see Thanos' kids, and they just like, all right, it's time. And then Tony turns to Bruce and was like, Hulk, you wanna come out? And this is where we started. Well, he started getting frustrated.
Like a little bitch boy, because Hulk did not want to come out. None.
And like Bruce was really trying to muster him out, and Hulk literally came out half-faced and was like, "No," and then went back. And so pretty much Bruce just had to kind of get protected by Wong because he can't do nothing. I mean, as a scientist, that's great, but like you ain't got no powers.
Like Bruce doesn't have powers. The Hulk has all of them. So.
Right. So meanwhile, this is going on. We see Peter Parker on the school bus because he's on the field trip.
Funniest scene in my opinion.
And so his spidey senses, you know, kick in. And so he looks out the window. He sees this huge spaceship. And he's like, oh crap. So his homeboy, what's his name?
Ned.
Yeah, Ned was sitting in front of him with his headphones on. And he's like, Ned, I need a distraction. And I don't even think Ned heard him because he had headphones in. But he turned around to look over his shoulder at Peter and saw that spaceship through the window. He's like, oh my God, we're gonna die. And so he runs to the back of the bus, and all the kids run through the back of the bus, and Peter's like, I guess this is my opportunity. So he go out the emergency exit window and, you know, puts on his suit and goes to where the fight is. So right now, Tony, he then turned into Iron Man.
Finally, we get to see Iron Man and Spider-Man fight alongside each other as well.
Yeah.
Do want to point out that kind of disappointed we didn't get that at Homecoming because we thought we was going to get that with the little clip that they kept showing. But yeah, we finally got that in this movie. So it was very interesting of a dynamic, seeing them all fight together and take on each member, the 2 members of the Black Order.
Right.
Doctor Strange gets his ass handed to him immediately.
By this other...
Corvus Maid.
Yeah, and his power...
He has, he has magic, telepathy. He understands the mystic arts, so it was a little hard for Doctor Strange to just catch him off guard.
Right. And then when Spider-Man showed up, he's like, Mr. Stark, what's going on? And so he's like, look, we got bad guys with magic, we got a wizard, we got, pretty much giving him a rundown. Right. And he's like, stay with the wizard. Because the, what's his name again? Thanos' kid? Whatever. The magic one.
Corvus Maid.
Him.
The second one with telepathy.
The one with telepathy. He's like, got Doctor Strange suspended, just sending them, beaming them up. And so Spider-Man like shoots some web to try to hold on and pull him back, but he ain't strong enough. So he started getting beamed up. He's like, Mr. Stark, I think I'm getting beamed up. And what do I do? And then so he was just like, stick with him. So Spider-Man gets all the way up into outer space on this ship. And he's like, I can't breathe. So he's starting to pass out. And then Tony's like, well, yeah, because you're running out of oxygen. Yeah, and so he's still on Earth, and he calls for a suit to get launched to Spider-Man, and it's his Spider-Man, his new Spidey suit.
It's Iron Spider.
Iron Spider. Whatever, Josh. Listen, I don't know all of these freaking technical terms. You know how many freaking suits Iron Man got? You think I'm about to sit there and learn all of them?
That ain't a super Iron Man.
It don't matter. He made it.
That's a super Iron Man. I mean, Spider-Man.
Whatever. Ain't got time.
So
anyway.
Iron Spider.
Sure. Which is great. It's a nice suit. So, anyway, he gets the suit on. Tony instructs the suit to send him home. So, a parachute flies out of the back.
But, of course, Spider-Man don't play that. So, he catches on to the end of the ship and sneaks back on board.
And Tony flies up to the ship as well. And he doesn't know Spider-Man is on there. So pretty much the people who are currently on this ship now, Doctor Strange, who is knocked out, and Doctor Strange's cloak was separated from him during the battle. So the cloak ain't about to let his boy go by himself. So he up there, Iron Man up there, Spider-Man up there. So that's the little group that we dealing with at this time. And Bruce is still on Earth with Wong. Now Wong is like, look, I gotta go protect.
Yeah, the Sanctum, because
Doctor
Strange is gone. I have to do it. So
right.
Yeah, you stay behind and protect the Sanctum. Somebody has to do
so Bruce pick up the trap phone, and obviously he's gonna call Cap. So while we're on the ship, you know, the kid with telepathy, he has these crystals. He's like he's puncturing into what? What are they? The kid. They all his kids. That's why I say that. So the kid with the telepathy, he's like, you know, has these crystals. He's puncturing them into Doctor Strange and pretty much torturing him because he's like, look, because there's power on
he had to give
the Eye of
Nakamoto. The time stone.
Yeah, and so there's power, you know, there's magic on it, and he can't touch it. And so he was like, well, look, I'll get it off your corpse. I ain't worried about you being alive, not one bit. I'm not making it back to Titan without it, though. I can tell you that. So he's punching him, torturing him, or whatever. And so Spider-Man makes himself known to Iron Man. So him, the Cloak, and Iron Man.
Another 80s movie reference.
So Spider-Man is like, Mr. Stark, have you ever seen the movie Alien? And he's like, what? So then they go. And so pretty much Iron Man makes himself known to the kid with the telepathy. And so he's telling him, like, you know, pretty much having a little back and forth. And the kid with the telepathy is like, you no match for me. And he started, you know, conjuring up some shit to throw at him. And he was like, yeah, I might not be, but the kid knows movies. So literally he blasts a hole into the side of the ship. And of course, by sheer force, he just gets sucked out into space. And then Doctor Strange is starting to get sucked out into space too. But Spider-Man uses his web to pull him back. But now, it's still kind of too strong. And this is where we see the Iron Spider suit has what?
The legs.
You got the legs. So the legs is doing all the work, really, and keeping them in there. Iron Man uses his, you know, stuff to close up the hole, and boom, we good. We on this ship, but we headed to Titan. And I don't know how to control this ship. Doctor Strange's like, we can't just go home. No, we can't. We got to go to Titan because we don't even know how to control this ship. It's on autopilot. If the GPS coordinates is going to Titan, ain't nothing we can do. So they decide, well, look, we just going to have to meet up with Thanos on his home turf like it is what it is. So we need to come up with a plan so we'd be good. So they get there. And, yeah, so pretty much they crash land on Titan because they don't know how to control this ship, so they can't steer it. and it's made for like a big dude because the other kid that had came down was like a giant.
Try to control it.
And yeah, so whenever they crash land on Titan, pretty much I'm trying to find where I'm at on this. Oh yeah, so once they crash land in the Titan, a whole bunch of Thanos' other minions pretty much storm the ship because like, why the fuck did it crash land? We know something got to be wrong. So they get on there, they kill all of them. Next thing you know, they run into Star-Lord and Drax and Mantis because they're on Titan looking for Gamora. And they don't know each other. So they start fighting each other too. So then Tony has Drax hemmed up. Star-Lord got Spider-Man hemmed up. And then Doctor Strange got Mantis hemmed up. Or she got him.
Neither one of them were hemmed up.
Oh, what were they doing?
They were just all armed.
Oh, okay, whatever.
And Doctor Strange calms everything down by asking, who do they serve? Who's their master?
Yeah, and then Star-Lord was like, what did you want me to say, Jesus? Like, what you mean, master?
That's funny.
Yeah, so.
But then they put all their differences aside and start coming up with their own plan to try to get rid of Thanos.
Right. So then, once Thanos arrives, they got their plan together. So Doctor Strange is just sitting out there waiting on them, and he's talking to Thanos, and he reveals that he isn't there alone. So they go through with their plan. They start attacking him. It's going well. Like Tony and Peter, they got the gauntlet. They pulling at the gauntlet. Doctor Strange and Drax, they pulling on the other side, trying to separate them from it. Star-Lord, was shooting him up, and then they had Mantis on his head trying to put him to sleep, and she was like, look, I can't fully put him to sleep because he's really strong and powerful, but like, y'all got to get it off soon. And then Nebula shows up, because she had kind of showed up a little bit before and was kind of fighting too. And then Thanos pretty much reveals that, well, Mantis was in his brain, so she was like, he's feeling remorse and he's mourning and anguish and all this stuff. I know. And so he was like, sad for what? And then Nebula was like, she just knew. She was like, he killed Gamora. And then Star-Lord was like starting to get mad, of course. And Tony's like, don't do it. Calm down. We almost got it off. Don't do it. And then he does it. He started trying to punch Thanos in the head and knocks Mantis off. So
right before Spider-Man
almost had it like to his wrist.
He had to grab it by the end of the gauntlet.
Yes, and pull it back. Yeah. So he pretty much fuck all of them up and leave them there. And that's pretty much, and then so he starts fighting Iron Man again. Tony in this new suit.
The new suit the dumb way.
It's going hard. It's going hard. And he got a whole bunch of weapons on there that just like, he really was like a formidable, opponent. And Thanos was even like, whenever I destroy, half of the universe, the half that's still around, I hope they remember you. Because like you putting up a good fight.
Yeah,
I respect you.
He was the only person that could get a drop of blood off there.
Yeah, it was like a scratch though, and he was like, "You did all of that for that
a drop of blood."
Right. So he was kicking at the end. He was kicking Iron Man ass. So the suit was exposing Tony. So he ended up stabbing him. So he was about to kill him, and he was telling Doctor Strange, "You need to go ahead on and give me that time stone. Like it is what you just need."
I do think that Doctor Strange might have put a hex on the stone. I think that's a possibility. Not 100% sure though. Before he gave it to him. Yeah,
and then so Doctor Strange gives the stone up, and Tony's like, "Why would you do that?" And he was like, "I had to." So he made the sacrifice of giving the stone up to save Tony's life, and then Thanos leaves.
Right.
So on to the last group, and we're gonna be on to the end. Jesus. Okay, I know it's long, but
Vision.
Yeah, so last group, we start off with Vision and Scarlet Witch. Right now, like, they're
in Scotland.
Shout
out to Scotland.
Ville. Anyway, so we were they were hiding out because, you know, they in love and they trying to, you know, see if their relationship could work because they've been hiding it from everybody for however long. And, you know, Vision is like, look, we might as well, it's been working. We need to just stay to ourselves and like not worry about it.
As soon as he say that and get comfortable with it, he gets stabbed.
Yeah, he gets stabbed in the back out of nowhere. And it's one of Thanos' daughters and sons. So they trying to, man, the son knock him down. And that's the scene from the trailer where he got the sword in his head trying to pry that mug out. Scarlet Witch ain't having it. You ain't about to.
She put up a real good
You
fight.
ain't about to kill my boo, okay? So she was like going in on both of them because like the whole time, like Vision, you know, he got stabbed like 4 or 5 times during this movie.
Like they wore him down because like he couldn't help on a scale that we know he's capable.
Right, and because the Mind Stone had been giving Vision these headaches, like it was trying to warn him that somebody was coming for it, but he didn't
even know. Like he doesn't know a lot about the Mind Stone, so he didn't know what was going on.
Right. So yeah, so they going in, and this fight literally goes from the street all the way through some buildings and like underground to like a subway.
Right before they it looked like they might get Vision, then Cap, Falcon, and Black Widow show up and help them out.
Yep, and they come and save them. So then, but this the mistake. They ain't killed them kids, and they should've. Okay.
They said that was gonna be that wasn't their last time chance. They did. They definitely should have went on here and just killed them.
Should have killed them. So anyway, they take them on on the plane, and they go to War Machine, who is walking with some techno legs.
Well, with the techno legs that Tony gave him in the last movie.
Yeah, so he's walking. He's doing good. He's having some freaking virtual meeting.
Yeah, he's having a meeting with the people that push the Accords. Mm-hmm. And of course, right now, he's not necessarily seeing eye to eye with the people of the Accords because of the fact that the Accords are so strong that people, superheroes, the superheroes that they need and looking for, all run away pretty much.
Yep.
So he opens up a domain for Cap and them to come back so they all can meet back up and try to protect Vision. And from there, they decide to go to Wakanda.
Yeah, because
there was no other scientists in the United States that could help them.
Right, because Bruce was there and he explained to them about Thanos. They know that he coming, and they was
saying they wanted to get the Mind Stone out of Vision so that he would still be able to
the whole time
live.
Vision was like, y'all, just go ahead and kill me and crush this
and
stone.
They didn't want to sacrifice Vision, so they were trying to find a way to get the stone out of his head so they can keep him alive, still have their ally, and then they could destroy the Mind Stone.
Yep.
So that leads into Wakanda.
Yep. And so they get there and they take him to Shuri. Shuri's like, first of all, I love her because she's so like, she's not like arrogant, but she's very like condescending sometimes. In a way, it's like, well, why did you set it up like this? Why didn't you, individually place, these parts or whatever to, the stone to him? And they were like, Bruce was like, cause we didn't think of it. She was like, I'm sure you tried your best. Like, hey, grown ass scientist that's been doing this for years. I'm 16. You're an idiot, but whatever. I know you did what you could do. So they asked her if she could separate the Mind Stone from Vision and keep him alive, and she said, yeah, but it's gonna take time. Yeah. And as soon as she said that,
that's when they started invading Wakanda.
And it was like,
she didn't have no time, man.
You do what you can do, but we're gonna have to go head on and square up pretty much. So, that's when T'Challa starts, calling all troops together, and they, get Cap a shield.
They got Bucky back. They gave Bucky a raw ass vibranium arm.
Yep, gave him an arm, and so.
Gave him a new nickname too, so he ain't Winter Soldier no more. He's White Wolf.
White Wolf, yeah. So they gave him a vibranium arm or whatever. And since the Hulk won't come out, Bruce has the Hulk Buster, and that's what he's in right now. So pretty much, Scarlet Witch and Vision, they stay with Shuri to perform this brain surgery. Yep. And the rest of them go out onto the battlefield. So we got all of the Wakandans.
Yeah. M'Baku got him a return.
Yep.
Yeah. Got him a little moment.
Yep, got all of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the two kids, the daughter and the son that they should have killed earlier in the movie that they didn't, these the ones that's invading Wakanda. The good thing was, you know, they ship started falling out, and one of them crash landed into the Wakandan border, so it just blew up. And then White Wolf was like, I love this place. Like, and the thing is, like, they were doing good because the shield was up. Can't nothing get through it.
Right. But they started surrounding the whole thing.
Yeah, and so it was crazy because the kids, they brought these freaking alien dogs or whatever they were. And these dogs were like, y'all gonna surrender and go away? And they were like, no. It was like, well, there's gonna be some bloodshed. And they told them, well, we got blood to spare. So they sent all these little alien dogs out, and they were like clawing their way through the border, like killing themselves. And Okoye was like, oh my God, like, what is going on?
That's when you know you have expendable people, because they'll kill themselves trying to kill you.
Right. So pretty much, you know, they start surrounding the border. It's like if they get through the backside of it and get to Shuri, like, we pretty much don't feel our mission. So we gotta open up the front and just let them in. We don't have to fight. So they did. They fighting. This epic battle ensues pretty much, and they doing good. They kicking butt. But then Thanos' kids send in these freaking like rolling spike machines. They came up through the ground, and it's just like rolling over people, pretty much just chopping them up. And so, you know, this kind of like messed up some stuff. And then out of nowhere, surely out of nowhere, Thor, Rocket, and Groot show up, and Thor just come out with this freaking new axe with the thunder and just with the lightning, and just like
helps it.
And then Bruce is like, oh shit, y'all in for it now. Pretty much. So, you know, he coming in wrecking shop. And so then Scarlet Witch, though, she sees that Black Widow and Okoye almost got rolled up. Well, they was about to get rolled over by this thing, and then these little dogs were trying to attack them. So she left from up there, because she was up there with Vision, because as soon as Shuri got the stone out from him, she was supposed to destroy it, because she the only one with the power to be able to do it. Right. But she saw them about to, you know, die, so she went down there to help them. But this was a part of Thanos' kids' plan. So as soon as she came from out of there, the daughter was like, she gone. Right. So she sent her brother up there. So he went up there, killed the little guards that was guarding for Shuri. Shuri was still trying to hurry up and do it, but he was right up on her, so she had to use her little fist rockets to back him up off of her, at least, so she don't die. And then
he doesn't dispatch of her, but he gets her out the way.
Yeah, he just...
So Vision has to hop off the table and try to defend himself.
Poor Vision. Like, Vision got stabbed up. He been having brain surgery. And, like, he literally had to hop up off the freaking surgical table to fight somebody. The fight fly out the window. And he doing good. He holding his own or whatever. But, you know, he gets stabbed again.
And Bruce goes to try to help him, but one of the other members he ends up having to fight one of the other members, the big one. Yeah. So he's, just like, yeah, Vision needs help. Somebody please help him.
Right, and then Cap show up.
Yeah, so Bruce does get his moment with the Hulk bust. He does destroy the big guy from the Order. And Cap helps Vision out, and him and Vision defeat that one.
Yeah, so him and
Okoye, Black Widow,
and Scarlet Witch having
help defeat the female.
Yeah, the sister, and they having a whole like girl power moment. That's really what it was for, and it was cool. So pretty much, yeah, like Cap and Vision help save each other or whatever, but then Thanos shows up. He got all the stones.
He got the first 5. He didn't have all of them.
No, he got all the stones except the Mind Stone, which is still in Vision's head.
Right. So this one is pretty fast, technically by word, but not by sight. He just beats up all the guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
while he's walking
and it was a big slow-mo.
Right.
So pretty much it was like he walking in slow-mo, beating all the superheroes up, and Vision is telling Scarlet Witch once again, you gotta kill me. Like, I love you, it's all good, but you gotta kill me. You the only one who can get this stone off.
So she goes ahead and starts doing it, but Thanos is still making his way closer, and she tries to use her power to kill him. And
so she's like shooting power out of one hand to break the stone up, shooting power out the other hand, fighting back Thanos. And she succeeds, but then Thanos quickly rewinds time, brings his ass back, and then just plucks the damn Mind Stone right out of his head. So she thinks Thanos is about to die, but he whispers to Thor and say, "You should have aimed for the head," and immediately snaps his fingers with the axe in his chest. What they've been warning about the whole movie.
The whole movie. So immediately he wakes up kind of in a different plane with Gamora. And, well, young Gamora at that, and they're talking.
Asked him, did you do it? And then he was like, yeah, I did it. And
she
was
what
like,
did you lose? At what cost? And he said everything. So that was very sad because he lost, you know, he actually very sad that he lost his daughter.
Yeah.
And once we go back to the real world, Thanos just immediately opens up another portal and just disappears. Like he just falls back and that's it.
The axe just falls out of his chest. Like, and then Thor's like, what did you do? What did you do?
And then Cap is like, what happened? What happened?
And then y'all.
We turn around and then Bucky is like, Steve, and just disintegrates.
And then people just start disintegrating. Y'all. And the thing was, Bucky is kind of one thing. But y'all, the people who were disintegrating, bruh, Black Panther disintegrated in front of Okoye's eyes. It scared the shit out of her, okay? Like, who else? Falcon.
Okay, let me just get straight to that. Because we don't got 2 minutes. Alright, so with that, like, they literally, half the Avengers are gone. Like, just start disappearing, turn into a pile of leaves in front of everybody.
Yep.
And we have a video coming out soon. We're going to go over everybody that does die.
Yeah.
Make sure you click the link down below for that video. But going into the end, it's Thanos. It ends, like we didn't think it was going to end this way. Like, or at least it was going to kind of wrap up a little better. But after everybody starts disappearing, we cut to Thanos. And he's like on a farm
and he's
watching the sunset. And he said that in the beginning, like, this is what he wanted to do.
Yep.
And it shows him sitting on the sunset. And then it just ends. It just ends.
Yeah. The theater was like this.
Like, just quiet. Like, who thought it was going to end like that? You know what I'm saying? What did you think about the movie? Tell us how did you feel about the movie. Tell us what you thought about the ending. And make sure that you click down below for our ending explaining video. Because it's definitely a video to explain on that. Needs to be explained.
Yeah.
Needs to be explained. Also, if you do like our reviews, we're going to drop more of them, especially since we're back. We're going to be doing these pretty much every week now. So, if you like these reviews, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share this video so other people can join the conversation about these movies.
Share it. Comment too, because we do respond.
Yeah, we respond, so definitely comment. I definitely love talking movies, so if you do respond, even if you respond a month from now and you comment, I will comment on this video and still talk about it. So even if you do think of good theories a month from now, make sure you drop those down in the comments so we can talk about them, and we'll do a video on that later. I'm the Couch Potato.
I'm Sweet Potato.